Good morning, delegates from the Baltimore-Washington Conference. I am Phil Potter, the President of the Council on Finance and Administration, and I look forward to introducing to you this year's CFA Recommendations. Let me start by simply echoing what we all know to be true. The financial struggles of the local church and that of the annual conference have been significant over the last 3 years. We have all navigated similar paths to match our expenses to the available income. This has required all our local church finance committees to focus on budgets, expense controls, contingency planning, and, when available, the appropriate use of local church reserves. Our Council on Finance and Administration has maintained that same focus. 2022 was a year in which we received a 7% increase in total income, and expenses were increased by nearly 10%. Both the income and expenses continued to be less than pre-pandemic levels, but through a strong focus by the CFA on expense controls and contingency planning, we were once again able to navigate the ups and downs successfully. After reviewing the 2022 year-end performance, I will provide an overview of the 2024 budget proposal. I will then close our presentation with the CFA recommendations that delegates will be voting on. One of the challenges that we faced in 2022 was a drop in the collection rate from the prior year. The overall drop was 3.5%, from 90.7% in 2021 to 87.2% in 2022. This was due to the shuttering of churches during the pandemic. In addition, there were 7 churches that withheld mission shares in 2022, a decision that they made in response to their congregation's desire to disaffiliate from the United Methodist Church. Had these churches given at their prior year's rates, the collection rate would have met the 89% budget. Based on our experience in 2022, you will see later that the proposed 2024 budget will assume a collection rate of 87%. Even though the collection rate was less than budget, the total income for 2022 was $1.1 million higher than the prior year. This 7% increase was influenced primarily by increased retreat and camping ministry registrations of nearly $500,000 that are continuing to recover from their lows in 2020. There was also an increased distribution of $200,000 from the trustee reserves to support the unified funding grants to local churches. But it is very good news to report that camping registrations increased by $500,000 in 2022. That was a 78% increase in camping revenue from the prior year. Managing the return of ministry expenses was another challenge that we navigated in 2022. As camps were once again fully staffed for the summer and ministries once again started to meet in person, the total expenses for the conference increased by $1.5 million, an increase of nearly 10%. Spending plans were established in the beginning of the year to ensure that this return of expenses would not exceed the available year-end income that was being forecasted each month. The overall impact of the expense controls resulted in a positive net income of $303,000. The table in the bottom right shows the importance of the expense controls, as total income was $1.2 million less than budget. The 1.7% surplus last year was simply a result of keeping the expenses under budget by $1.5 million. As we reflect on this long-term view of the conference's financial results, we realize that God has blessed this conference in so many ways. We truly give thanks to God for guiding our path. Let me now turn to the highlights of the proposed 2024 budget. The 2024 budget proposal sets the mission share income at $12.6 million. A slight increase from the $12.5 million budget that was approved for 2023. The actual increase in the mission share income is $81,000, or 0.6% of the 2023 mission shares for a local church. As we take a close look at the mission share calculations, The mission share income is derived from the multiplication of the statistical mission share base, the benevolence factor, and the collection rate. Compared to last year's 2023 budget, the mission share base increased from $79 million to nearly $83 million. The budget proposes a reduction in the benevolence factor from 17.55% to 17.45%. And as mentioned previously, the collection rate for the budget proposal is set at 87%. The local church's mission share goal will be calculated by multiplying the benevolence factor times the local church's expenses that are used in calculating the mission share base. These reductions will offset the increases in the base. Otherwise, it would result in a significant increase in local church mission shares that the CFA wanted to avoid as much as possible. It is noted on this slide that the mission share base for a local church does not include the expenditures of the church that support the pastor's pension and benefits, the church's mission giving, or the trustees' capital expenditures. As we now compare the 2024 mission share income to the long-term trends, we can see in the top chart that this year's reduction in the benevolence factor is providing one more step in the CFA's long-term strategy. Prior to this change, the benevolence factor was set at 17.55% for the last 3 budgets. We can also see in the bottom chart that the proposed mission share income of $12.6 million continues to be aligned with the CFA's strategic glide path to reduce the mission share income to $12 million in 2025 or 2026. Inflationary pressures could have easily increased the expenses in this budget proposal by $400,000 to $500,000. It was through expense reductions that the budget was able to absorb almost all the inflationary pressures. The expense reductions contained in this year's budget proposal total $367,000. Roughly 2/3 of this reduction comes from the new coverage plan that was announced earlier this year for the Greater Washington District. As Reverend Jerry Green retires at the end of June, the responsibilities of the district superintendent and the district office will be covered by the 3 district offices that border Greater Washington. The coverage plan will allow the district to continue to operate as normal, and the program budgets for the Greater Washington District will remain fully funded. The other major contributor to the expense reductions comes from the reduction in scope of the Youth Rock event, as it has plans to become a one-day event in the future. This event is entirely funded by registration fees, so by itself, this expense reduction has no direct impact on the mission shares. Most of the inflationary pressures are found with the staff salary and benefits proposal that incorporates a 4% increase for 2024. As we have done for several years, the general church apportionments will continue to be paid at 100% of the proposed 2020 General Conference levels. And the budget also continues to introduce trustee funds from the sale of closed churches to support the unified funding local church grants. $600,000 from the sale of closed churches will be used in 2024 to fund the total grant budget of $1.1 million. We finished the budget highlights by comparing the 2024 budget proposal with the current 2023 budget. As the mission share income is increased by $81,000, the other sources of income is decreased by $197,000. Combined, the total income of the proposed budget is $116,000 lower than the prior budget, and the non-mission share sources continue to fund 31% of the total budget. On the expense side, the expense reductions mentioned on the last slide will enable the regional and ministry team expenses to be reduced by $266,000. The staff salary increase is primarily the driver for the $150,000 increase in the stewardship and Episcopal office budgets. Overall, the 2024 budget proposal is a decrease of $116,000 or 0.6% from the prior year. This brings me to the final slide that lists our CFA recommendations. 1. we propose the 2024 budget to be established at $18,107,147, with mission shares set at $12,564,729. 2. We propose the 2024 benevolence factor be reduced to 17.45%. 3. The proposed budget conforms to the Book of Discipline allocation of 33% for world service, with the remainder allocated to conference and general church benevolences. 4. The CFA has contracted Ellen and Tucker to conduct the 2023 audit. 5. In concurrence with the opinion of our auditors, we propose closing the 2023 financial books on January 9, 2024. And 6, as is our practice, we ask that you grant authority to CFA in consultation with the bishop, the cabinet, and the discipleship council to act on financial matters between sessions of the annual conference. On behalf of the council, I appreciate your participation in this pre-con session. Thank you.